everybody. So today we're going to have a side-by-side of my 40L version versus my 60L version. I believe this is probably the second side-by-side, but both beers are using pale chocolate malt and coffee malt. I believe it's Simpsons Brown Coffee is what the name of it is. So the 40L version is on my left, bottled on 2.5. 5.9% ABV, and on my right, this was also bottled on 2.5, 5.32% ABV. I will put a card up at the end and up here if you want to go check out the playlist that would have the individual reviews of these. I just did the individual ones, so for the most part, they're the same temperature. For the head, if anything, I would say the 60 version has a little bit more of a head, which doesn't really mean anything, because if I look at these, I would say they don't have a head. But towards the back here, there is a little tan in the 60L version, which is kind of funny because that was going down faster than the 40L version. For the colors, better do it to this one too, just to make sure. Yeah, for the colors you guys are seeing, I don't know if you guys can see, if anything, I would say the 60L version is a little clearer. Pretty much the same color on both. If anything, yeah, it's the same color when I move it. But the clarity of that 60L is a little nicer. Clear. So if anything, if you're looking for a clear porter, you'd go with the 60. Let's go ahead and smell. Really, technically, the only differences should be maybe a little bit of sweetness going from that Crystal 40 to that Crystal 60, but we do have a little bit of a difference in ABV. So maybe that 40L, the sweetness is going to be a little less because it is a higher ABV than the 60L. So we might get a little bit more sweetness out of that Crystal 60. Yeah, it seems like as it's warming up, the coffee note is starting to go up a little bit more. I would say it's a little bit darker, bold smell than like a city roast, almost pushing that French roast. And also maybe a touch of chocolate, more chocolate's coming out, like bitter chocolate. It's not sweet at all. The 60 version, like I get that roasted malt, maybe a touch of coffee, but sweeter. Sweeter through the whole thing. When I smell that sweetness, it makes me think of more like Christmas, maybe a sweeter porter somewhere around Christmas time, winter time. Let's smell this one first. Like it doesn't have that coffee smell. And the sweetness from that 60L version could be because it didn't attenuate all the way, but I believe, if I remember right, per the Beersmith recipe, these are supposed to be 5.2% ABV, so they're both higher than what it should be technically. But yeah, for the Crystal 60, I think there should be a little bit more sweetness. Then on top of that, being a little lower ABV, you're going to get a little bit more sweetness. If I had to pick one of these to drink from the smell, I would go with the 40 version. I would rather have that coffee in there than that sweetness. Let's go ahead and taste. Tasting them side by side, the 40L version does taste a little bit more watered down. Like the body isn't as heavy, but again, the attenuation on both of these isn't the same, so you could have that. There's going to be more sugar drawn out of the 40L version, so it's going to be a lighter body. Where in the 60 version, there's more sugar left in there, so it's going to be a little bit thicker. yeah, you get that roasted coffee, a little sweetness in the back, maybe a touch of chocolate. In the aftertaste, more, I would say, sweeter chocolate coffee, roasted malt. I think the 60 version, a little sweeter roasted malt going through. The roasted malt or the roasted coffee or the coffee note and the chocolate really don't stand out. Like that roasted maltiness takes over in that 60L version. So at least on this for me, if I had to pick, I would go with the 40L version. So I'll have to go back and watch my other ones to see if I did that too. If I picked the 40L version, if I reviewed them before, but I'm sure I have. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below which one you would take or which one you would make. If you enjoyed this, check some more out over here. And until next time, happy brewing.